We Are Wrestling.
Don, D-O-N?
Dick, got it.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
We are wrestling.
What is going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs. Ben and Donnie here. Solo.
Ben and Donnie.
I mean, oh my God, bro.
5 seconds into the intro. What is going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. It is Ben and Dan back again, hosting it because Donnie's got bronchitis. You would have known that if we uploaded the extra that we did of Vince McMahon last night, but we decided not to because everything moved very fast overnight, and Vince McMahon is officially back in WWE, and that is going to be basically the majority of what we talk about today. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. But Dan, how you doing today? Nope, I got you. I'll answer that for you. He is absolutely fucking flustered. I put him on fucking injured duties in the last second because I am absolutely tired as shit tonight. But homeboy took care of it anyways. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the post bell notifications to be notified when another upload gets uploaded, and make sure to check out all the links down below. We Are Wrestling, Best One Don, and Danny H. Vlogs. He just hit 550 subscribers. He is closer to 1,000 and getting his monetization. Dan, happy for you, man. It's going steady.
Absolutely, man. We had a good stream, had a good SmackDown stream tonight, man. It was crazy. SmackDown was a pretty good episode. We'll probably talk about that next week when Donnie gets back and gives you guys a chance to get caught up. But, man, so yes, a little bit of backstory. Me and Ben last night, we recorded an extra once this news broke that Vince McMahon was potentially going to be coming back to the company. And we decided last minute not to upload it because we wake up this morning and it turns out to be official. And this is why I tell Donnie, I'm like, once a news story breaks, we shouldn't jump on it right away because there could be, 5 different, things happening right afterwards. So
some people think shit doesn't work overnight, but sometimes I guess miracles happen. Oh my God. I can't believe we're on this, man. I was already in disbelief that we were talking about Vince McMahon after all this time, and all of a sudden, yep, he's back. It's just like overnight. So there's so much to unpackage right now because he did make his official statement saying that he'd be coming back as executive shareholder and all that shit and chairman. But I guess he said that his return would not interfere with anybody else's duties, including Triple H as head of creative, Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon being co-CEOs. That's not going to change apparently. But like I said in the extra last night, people got fired, which I'm not a fan of. Like, I'm not a fan of anybody losing their job. And people did, for Vince to come back. So I hope their severance is good. I mean, it's WWE, their severance package must be amazing, but at the same time, it's still a negative. And apparently the locker room is at a very all-time low in terms of morale with the news of him coming back, which honestly makes sense because there's been so much of a positive change, and even superstars that have recently returned are talking about wanting to leave the company if he comes back. So it's just like there's a lot of things in jeopardy right now, and it's kind of panic mode. I'm in panic mode a little bit.
I am too, especially we've gone this far where, the Royal Rumble is going to be in a couple weeks, we're closer to WrestleMania, and, that's like the big show that everybody was looking forward to, under the watchful eye of Triple H. And now we just I have heard, I have not been able to find any kind of confirmation on this, but I have heard that today, obviously they had like a Zoom meeting or whatever, but apparently Vince McMahon signed a contract stating that he will not get involved with creative or anything that really has to do with like the weekly shows. That if he does, then he'll be he'll get sued or whatever like that. I haven't been able to find any kind of confirmation about that, but I mean that's kind of interesting to find out.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs. It's the best one, Donnie here. I am not 100%. I'm dealing with bronchitis, so my voice sounds a little fucked up. Apologize for that. Fortunately, I can't be on the talk show tonight with Ben and Danny because I cannot talk for hours. And of course, when I'm fucking sick, all of this shit with WWE and Vince McMahon is happening. And my thoughts on it, bullshit. This is bullshit. Yes, there are some flaws with Triple H and what he's been doing, but let's keep it 100%. Vince McMahon coming back is not a good move for WWE. I think we all know it. All the maniacs know it. Ben and Danny cannot tell me different. If they think that Vince McMahon coming back is a good thing, then they shouldn't even be doing this talk show. But we all, I think, have the same opinion here about Vince McMahon coming back. This is not a good thing. I will not be surprised if AEW starts picking up some momentum if things happen. There's definitely got to be some McMahon drama, I feel like. We just saw a thing on Instagram with Shane McMahon's son commenting, to be honest, W. And I think there's definitely some issues with the McMahon family, with like Shane and Stephanie and Triple H probably. So who the hell knows what the hell's going on with the McMahon drama? This like reminds me of like an episode of like General Hospital or fucking Keeping Up with the Kardashians. This is just a fucked up situation, and Vince McMahon is not going to do anything good for WWE. I think Vince McMahon doesn't understand that, like, new school wrestling, what Vince McMahon used to do back in the day is not going to work in today's wrestling. And the truth is, Triple H and Tony Khan and Stephanie McMahon, they know what us wrestling maniacs want. And Vince McMahon coming back is this could be a major disaster for WWE, especially like after all the pieces Triple H has picked up. This is not good at all for any of us maniacs. Now, back to Ben and Danny.
See, for me, it's just like at this point, Vince has literally gotten around anything. So, it's really hard to believe that he's not gonna find a way to get around that shit too. Like, cause this dude this dude just retired because he did the worst of the worst, and he's coming back. Well, he is back already, and it's amazing how quickly they took him back too. So it's just like it just puts a really bad taste in a lot of these fans' mouths, especially the returning fans under Triple H's regime. And it really is such a shame, honestly. Like, I just, I'll probably get flamed for a lot of my opinions on this because I'm just like so negative about it, because it's just, it's almost like Ezra Miller and him returning as the Flash. It's like, dude's done some questionable shit rather, and he's basically getting off on it. He's found a way to still resume his duties, and it blows my fucking mind. It really blows my fucking mind.
But I mean, Vince McMahon has always sort of been like this, all the way back from like, the referee in the limousine back in the 80s to the steroid lawsuit with Hulk Hogan back in the 90s, and Vince McMahon has always had this mentality that he can get away with whatever the fuck he wants, and there's nobody that can touch him.
Yeah, and like we touched on last night in the extra as well, like there's little to no remorse about any of it either. Like, it's like the dude doesn't even fucking feel bad. The dude doesn't. It's just like, yeah, I did some shit, whatever. It's like he is the more fuckless version of Bill Clinton at this point. Like, he's literally the more fucking careless version of Bill Clinton at this point. Like, it's just, what in your right mind possesses you to rehire this man? Just because he's Vince McMahon. Like, it is mind-boggling to me.
Well, like I sort of explained last night in that show, and we're going to be bringing up a lot of the points that we talked about because a lot of it does make sense now.
Yeah.
WWE's media rights and stuff like that, like all the negotiations were going to be happening for the new year, and apparently because Vince McMahon has 80% of the stock in WWE, and he's like, primary shareholder. A lot of the decisions couldn't be made without his approval, and he was refusing to make any kind of approvals without, him being involved.
It just, man, like, this dude is literally gonna die on this hill. Like, he's literally gonna die on this hill, man. And he just, I'm starting to think that Vinnie Mac over here has got some separation issues. Like, I'm starting to really believe it, because it's just, what in your right mind makes you think people want you back? Like, it just, like, after all of this, like, what makes you think it's like, dude, like, I don't even know if there was any dignity there with him leaving. So it's like, what dignity you might have left? What makes you think coming back is the right move?
I know.
Like,
I've
it's
I've
a
heard
money thing, obviously, and it's just an
Yeah.
obsessive thing. It's like, I get that the business is all he's ever known, and he's very old now, so it's just cemented on him. But at the same time, you got to know when to step away, man. And it was just the perfect time for him to step away. Things got so much better with him being gone. So I just, I'm worried. I think I'm more worried than anything, and I think that's another reason as to why I can't find any positives in this, because WWE was really bouncing back from a fucking years-long struggle with Vince in charge. And we're finally not putting band-aids on all of his damages. We're stitching it up. We're fucking repairing that shit with, like, the highest expense. We're repairing that shit. And, so much good change has happened in such a short amount of time. And, like, now one wrong move and that's it, man. You could take the whole ship down. The ship's going to sink. And that's what I'm worried about the most, is that we're going to go back. We're going to take a million steps back after we've just taken hundreds forward. And it's just fuck. Excuse me. And it's just the whole thing. It just I can't wrap my head around it, and I think that's like why I'm in such panic mode, is because I don't want WWE to fail, because they've come so far.
Yeah, and I read an article earlier today, and apparently this journalist, he hit up a bunch of people that, like, backstage people, superstars, talent, whatever. And apparently a lot of people said that if Vince McMahon comes back, then they're leaving.
Yeah, man.
And
I just mentioned that.
yeah, in the article said it was people that recently came back, meaning probably like Karrion Kross, like a lot of these people, like, I mean, how they got
People are
fired
pissed,
once.
man.
They got fired once before. How long until
People are pissed, man. Like, a lot of people only came back because Triple H was running shit. Like, people only came back for that reason. Like, a lot of their, like, reasoning as to why they were like, yeah, in the first place, is because Vince was no longer around. He's not there to fucking constantly yell at people. Like, I hope that with Vince being back, he's nowhere allowed near fucking Gorilla. Like, he should be nowhere near that fucking chair. Like, at all. Like, I don't want him overseeing shit. Like, stay at corporate. Like, don't go on the road. Don't fucking go to any, like, if you're gonna go to any major event, stay the fuck away from Gorilla. Do not make any fucking calls. Do not make any fucking tweaks. Do not make any fucking changes. Do not produce any fucking matches. Like, I don't want any of it. Like, stay the fuck away from creative. Stay the fuck away from the weekly shows. Stay the fuck away from pay-per-views. And goddamn it, stay the fuck away from WrestleMania. Like,
absolutely.
Like, it just, that is the bottom line. Stay the fuck away from creative. Stay the fuck away from the shows. Do what you got to do shareholder-wise, streaming service, whatever fucking network you want to go to. Fuck off. Go diddle yourself with your fucking money all you want. But stay the fuck away from the product, because it is thriving right now. Because here's the thing. If WWE sinks at this very moment, the wrestling industry is sinking at this very moment. And soon enough, all of us are going to be watching New Japan. Like, yeah, this
Pretty
that like
much.
as AEW is fucking struggling right now. Fucking Vince is back, so they could be very much struggling overnight as well. Like, it is a disaster. Sick moves, by the way, babe. It is going to be an absolute fucking disaster. Like, I don't want the ship to sink at all.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is just worrisome.
Man, we've been talking about this for months, and it just at this moment, it just seems like we're beating a dead horse. It just seems like it's never gonna end. It's never gonna stop. Vince McMahon is always gonna be there to steer the ship, and it's just gonna crumble for the most part.
A lot of people are like speculating that he never left in general, has always been involved for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that too.
But I don't know how much belief I have in that, just because if he really was involved this whole time, the product would not be this good. It would not be this good. I saw a funny comment today on the post about him returning, and someone said, and people say that WWE doesn't believe in long-term storytelling. I was fucking crying to that shit, but at the same time, I mean, like, in all seriousness, this is bad. This is very, very bad. Like, and I hope that everybody that is involved with his return to the company knows what they're doing. Like, that is my biggest thing.
Coming soon to We Are Wrestling.
Being like 3 years old, literally, my uncle would be like, "Oh, body slam," and he'd be elbowing me, and he just doing moves on me in the living room.
My cousin, Stash, he was a big wrestling fan because of the Attitude Era, and I saw him playing with the, Jack Pacific, the WWE toys.
And myself included, we look more forward to these surprise entrants than sometimes the actual Rumble match itself.
If you are in a fast-paced environment like the Rumble, you need to, have that fast pace. Which is why I think, new school has a little bit over the old school.
I'm a huge fan of characters. I think that's a huge thing that's missing in today's wrestling.
Honestly, I would rather take the belt that I'm wearing on my pants. I'd rather be representing that than the fucking the new WWE Championship, okay? We are Wrestling Old School versus New School podcast. New episodes airing every Monday starting January 9th.
She made me strawberry shortcake. Bro,
Strawberry shortcake? Fuck yeah.
She made this thing I found on Instagram, the Big Mac tacos. Shit was banging, bro.
Big Mac tacos. That sounds fucking dang too.
I know. It's fucking bomb, bro.
Damn, I can go for a quarter pounder. Oh, with extra mac sauce? Fuck. Alright. Damn, this is recording. I just remembered that shit.
Donnie's gonna see this shit and be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? He's gonna clip this shit and post it everywhere.
Just send this without context so he has to watch the whole thing. Like, tell him that none of this shit went down. Have him watch the whole thing and watch him see this part where I was just like, ooh, I could go for a quarter pound, and watch him be like, yup, I gotta hop on me on some DoorDash. I'd be like, yo, how was that quarter pounder, you fuck? All right, anyways, so what were you talking about before you had to get your strawberry shortcake? Oh, that looks fucking dank, bro. Fuck. That looks dank as fuck, man. You're waiting till after? Shit. I'm digging that shit up while I'm going. Fuck. All right,
no,
so what were we talking about, though?
If I get white stuff around my mouth, I don't want to have to explain anything.
People think like, who came on this boy's face? Chris? Oh, man. Oh, fuck.
Donnie, you shouldn't have left him in charge, you fuck.
Yeah. All right. So what were you talking about before you got your cake, though?
This bitch frosted me like I was a fucking cake.
It's so funny because we were just talking about that last night.
Yeah.
Last time he appeared in the movie was Zack and Miri Make Porno. But all right. So what were we talking about, though?
I was just pretty much saying, like, it just at this point it just seems like with this whole Vince McMahon situation, it seems like we're beating a dead horse, Like, I guess in the back of my mind, I've always expected him to come back, and I've always expected this to happen.
I think we all did.
It just, I don't know, man. It's just, it's one of those things, man.
It's one of those things that is just like an endless cycle of just pure fuckery. Like, literally, Vince McMahon is probably the most iconic villain in, like, just the world at this point. Like, you can open a fucking history book and Vince's name is somewhere in there about all the bad shit he's possibly fucking done. Oh my God.
Vince McMahon is like the Joker right now, bro.
Yeah. I honestly, for one reason, I'll bite for that, because clearly he just wants to watch the world burn, because he's just, everything he touches, he just destroys at this point, and he's here for it. Like, I just, shall we talk about CM Punk now?
let's talk about CM Punk, man. So
And you know what? The irony of talking about CM Punk for months in the group chat, I have said like I don't want to fucking talk about CM Punk. I don't want to fucking talk about CM Punk just because of the media scrum tainted the wrestling industry so fucking bad. Like it was just so toxic. It's all you would fucking hear about. It's all you would read about with these fucking cyber warriors and in wrestling communities, and it's just I was so sick of talking about it. So fucking sick of talking about it. But now that there's been a little space in between, Dan, you can take this one away because I know that you are very much so looking forward to how this is all going to conclude. So,
yes, man. So CM Punk is pushing to come back to AEW. I knew it was gonna happen. You know, like with this whole media scrum, like you know, it was a fucking circus at the time. It shouldn't have happened. I feel like it probably got blown way out of proportion.
oh hell yeah.
But the fact is, if they turn this from a shoot into a work, to flip this around on everybody,
Yeah.
you know, and turn this into a legitimate storyline, the amount of money that could be made from this situation is astronomically high.
Especially if they play their cards right and they book it right, you know? Like if they can find a way to capitalize on this and continue the story, so to speak.
Yeah.
And again, it's doing it right and not being overly silly about it. Like cuz you know when some things that are, you know, obviously very much so real get turned into a work, there is a lot of just silly aspects that are drawn into it, like biting people, for example. Like that shit with like when Kenny Omega bit who the fuck did he bite in the middle of the ring? Was it Pac?
Yeah.
Like he fucking bit him. Like yeah, the crowd was going wild for it, but I feel like
They
that was
did
just
that
all
in-
the toxic ass fans just cheering about it.
They
and
did
it
that
just-
in they did that in Chicago in CM Punk's hometown. That's
I
why
get it.
that's what made me be like, okay, there's something onto this. Like,
Yeah, like and I get that too, but you just got to know where the ratio is because
Yeah.
like you can taint something that could be really fucking good by being overly silly and overly pretentious about it, like dragging it out a little bit too much, you know. I want it to be booked correctly. I want his return to be big if he is going to return. Like I'd want it to be very big on a broad scale. I'd want it to be very left field. Like I don't want it to be spoiled, like, you know, with how things are very much so spoiled nowadays. I really, really hope that it's kept under wraps really well. I hope that there is, you know, really good storytelling involved. I hope they capitalize correctly. I hope that it's very organic, nothing stiff about it. It's something that they've talked about. Like, I hope you're right, man. Like, I really do. I hope you're right. I hope that they've, you know, already like low key buried the hatchet and they're just waiting for the right moment to do it. You know, like I hope you're right. I hope it's a big thing because right now with the Vince news, we could use a win somewhere, even
We
if
could.
it's AEW. You know, like we could use the win. That's the way I'm choosing to look at it right now, which is why I'm looking at it on a more positive spectrum because I am just so distraught right now over the Vince shit.
but like, you know, like I was saying in the group chat, you know, we've had several discussions about it. Sometimes it gets heated. Sometimes, you know, we can have a civilized conversation. But like I said, like, who's to say that, you know, they, you know, the Elite, Punk, TK, who's to say that they didn't all have some kind of private Zoom meeting and they all
It's
like
possible.
squashed everything and was like, you know, let's flip this around and turn it on everybody's heads. I think that's a very rare possibility. And I don't
Yeah.
know if you know, but Dax has a new podcast. Dax Harwood from FTR.
Yeah,
It's called
you said.
FTR with Dax, and his first episode was about CM Punk.
Yeah.
And you know, apparently when CM Punk came in, like, you know, he took everybody, all the boys and all the girls out to dinner. He, you know, bought all the females, you know, $500 gift cards to Starbucks, and like, you know,
Fuck yeah.
you know, he did it anonymously so people didn't know it was him. And like, there's a lot of good that he did, and you know, he wanted to show his appreciation for people allowing him to come in. So,
Yeah.
but Dax, you know, talked about the whole CM Punk and, you know, the brawl out on his podcast.
Yeah.
And apparently it's come out from some journalists. I don't know if it's 100% truthful, but apparently a lot of people in AEW are pissed off at Dax for talking about CM Punk and, you know, the good that he's done in the company, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, could that
CM
be?
Punk
Could that be a part of the work as well, and have FTR and CM Punk go, do a trios against the Elite?
That would make the most sense. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah, so when it comes to that, I can understand both sides, like I can understand why people are pissed. But I can also understand defending somebody in their absence, especially,
Yeah.
CM Punk is obviously seen in the public eye as a very big, hard to work with asshole.
Yeah.
But it comes off on how you portray yourself as well.
Yeah.
So there has to be some kind of accountability there. However, with that knowledge,
Absolutely.
and when you're portrayed that way in the public light, people really do find any kind of excuse to not acknowledge the good that you do and acknowledge what kind of person you are in real life behind the scenes, how it all started. People don't want to acknowledge that shit. They just want to keep the fucking drama train going. And that's basically what this is. There's, it happened. It was a bad fucking look. It could have destroyed his fucking career. It was really bad, man. For months it was really, really bad. We didn't know if either side was going to fucking heal from it. But there's signs that it is. And we could use that win right now in the industry, and I don't care where it comes from right now because of, again, the news that we just got today. We could definitely use that win. So whether he goes to WWE, whether he goes back to AEW, I'm with it. I'm with it. Just give me something good if you're going to do it. Give me something spectacular. And if this is also work with FTR and the whole podcast and then talking about good about CM Punk and it builds up to a fucking 6-man tag match, I'm with it. That's going to be a 5-star classic.
I could
and
see
especially
CM
with the long-term storytelling.
I could see CM Punk and FTR going against the Elite with the trios titles on the line. Bro, that'd be a hell of a match, man. But
absolutely, give it to the Elite and make him then eventually give it to fucking FTR and CM Punk.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it comes full circle. I would have said, obviously before this whole Vince McMahon thing happened, I would have been like, okay, maybe there's a possibility here that CM Punk will go back to WWE. But now that Vince McMahon is somewhat back in charge, the likelihood of that happening now is like 1,000,000,000 to 1. You know how much CM Punk despises Vince McMahon.
Absolutely. It's the whole reason why he will forever refuse to go back unless he's gone like he was, and it's just, who knows? It's a very dark time again in the wrestling industry.
Very, very dark time, man. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Like me and Ben said, this is going to be a very short episode. There's very, very little news this week. Not much has come out outside of this whole Vince McMahon thing. And, like I said earlier, it's like beating a dead horse. We don't need to sit here for an hour and talk about Vince McMahon. Like,
No.
he's back. We're going to have to see how it plays out. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, it could very well be true that he signed a contract stating that he won't interfere with what Triple H is doing, as well as, Nick Khan and Stephanie as CEOs. But, I mean, it's still, he just came back on today. It's too soon to tell what's going to happen. So we're just going to have to wait it out. And who knows, you guys might be getting more videos and more podcasts and more, extras, as the day progresses to see what really happens, man. I just hope with the Rumble and WrestleMania season, I hope it goes off without a hitch, and I hope Vince McMahon doesn't do anything to fuck it up.
Dude, man, I'm right. I'm definitely right there behind you. But everybody, let us know in the comments below what you guys think about the whole Vince McMahon situation. Do you think that CM Punk is going to return, and do you think this whole thing is a work with FTR, the Elite, and the Trios titles? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the post bell notifications to be notified when another upload gets uploaded, and be sure to follow all of our links in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of We Are Wrestling Talk Show. Dan, any last remarks?
Subscribe. We have a lot of stuff coming. We're going to have a banger of a live stream, live watch along for the Royal Rumble, as well as WrestleMania.
Guys.
You guys are not going to want to miss it. We'll be simultaneously streaming on my channel as well as right here on We Are Wrestling. So make sure you guys subscribe with the post.
What are you talking about? You're gonna be in person with us. Oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna be streaming on both. That's right. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Keep going.
Ben's tired, man. He needs some sleep, man. He needs his beauty rest.
Something like that.
But anyway, guys, appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for getting us to 3,100 subscribers.
Oh yeah, thank you guys.
And yeah, we have some more content coming for you guys very soon. Hopefully Donnie will be back next week. Hopefully we'll be back to our regularly scheduled, uploads and all that fun stuff, podcasts. This is like the shortest episode we ever done, but there's no news this week.
Yeah, it's been other than Vince, it's been a very quiet week, which is weird. But again, we're gonna be back to the regular shit next week when we have the host Don back. So till next time, we will see you then. Take care.